The fantasy news must flow! Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News! I am your disheveled goblin host, Daniel Greene, and it is good to be back after a week-long absence. And today we have a spread of fine cheese fantasy news that will make you toot if you're lactose intolerant. So clinch up and get ready, goblins. Let's jump into the first story of the day. And I woke up feeling like throwing hands this morning. So we're gonna talk about Disney must pay once again. And the update is there's still no update, Disney. You paid the high-profile authors, but apparently still have not paid the low-profile ones. That means you've admitted fault, and you're hoping people just don't care enough to keep it going. So this morning, I tweeted out about Disney must pay, and I encourage my subscribers to do so as well. Mickey Mouse is poorly designed, your movies are not as good as they used to be, and I'm gonna come at you with everything that I can with my little goblin motivation. So I'm gonna do everything I can to bring a small horde to your doorstep. It's not much, but do what I can, doing my best. Okay, but let's go ahead and get into the first news story of the news week. And this is gonna be around some potential casting for a small part within the Wheel of Time series. It seems that Miss Planet Czech Republic will be making an appearance in the Wheel of Time show, and the rumor is that she'll be dancing the Taganza. Ooh. For those of you who don't know, it is a specific kind of dance danced by a certain type of people within the Wheel of Time, and it's known to be quite tantalizing. I'll do my best interpretation now. This is how we do it. This is how we Taganza. So I hope everyone now has a better understanding of how the Taganza appears, and we can move on to the next story. Am I allowed to keep that? Am I allowed to... It's just me pelvic thrusting. I can't pelvic thrust in fantasy news. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about some more serious, grounded fantasy news, and that's going to be a cover reveal from author Adrian Tchaikovsky, and that is going to be a book titled Ogres. It looks Jekyll and Hyde to me, like this is a pretty Jekyll and Hyde looking cover. But the synopsis reads, "It's always idyllic in the village until the landlord comes to call, because the landlord is an ogre! And ogres rule the world with their size and strength and appetites. It's always been that way, and it's the natural order of the world. And they only eat people sometimes." And it'll be out in March of 2022 in ebook and a limited edition hardback. I'm here for it. And let's just go ahead and get the last cover reveal of the day out of the way with an anthology coming out from Grimdark magazine with many notable names attached. We have The King Must Fall, with an appearance from Adrian Tchaikovsky. So transition news. Go ahead and take it like I took the fact that he's in both and added a transition. Just talk about in the comments how nice and smooth a transition I made that. Please. I like these anthology kind of fantasy releases. Let me know if you're a fan of them as well in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see reviews for some of the anthologies where you have like a bunch of authors coming together. I'm not exactly sure how I do it, but it seems like a fun time. And then I guess also kind of in cover reveal news, but more in just like broader Discworld appeal. The hardback collection for Discworld is officially complete. I've actually reviewed some of these hardbacks before here on the channel, 1 second, and I was generally happy with how they looked and felt. They're really good value, not super expensive, and if you're gonna get into Discworld and want physical copies, I can't think of too many better, more options than these ones right here. I respect my books. I don't understand people who have to keep their books in perfect, pristine shape. They're books. It's okay if they have some sign of wear and tear in reading. That means you're doing what they're meant to be done with. But seriously, Discworld is one of the highest recommended fantasy series of all time in my opinion, and these are an absolutely sensational way to read them if you don't mind a fairly lightweight and affordable hardback. Okay, all right, okay, I'll talk about it. I heard you, I know. Even though I already did a live stream where I discussed this, we'll get back into the fact that Kelsier is going to be in Fortnite. Brandon Sanderson has made waves once again as he has brought one of his most iconic characters to one of the largest video games currently available in terms of popularity. Good lord, this man's marketing moves are sheer genius. There's some pushback I've seen where some people don't like this. Of course, we have Kelsier now Fortnite dancing. But in reality, this is a brilliant move from Sanderson. If even only 1% of the people who come across this skin get curious enough to pick up his book, that's gonna be a boost to sales. It also, to me, indicates that there's people in Hollywood who pay attention to this kind of stuff, and the chances of someone wanting to come across and pick up a Mistborn script ticks up just ever so slightly. That's true. I mean, people like to think Hollywood's some big boardroom strategic stuff, but in reality, a lot of the times decisions are come down to like some guy noticing, oh, the kids are into this, let's try and make the movie out of that. And it's a good move from Sanderson on all accounts. Smart job. The question just comes down to you, the user. Is this gonna make you pick up Fortnite? And if you were gonna add one more Cosmere character to Fortnite, which one would you add? But Sanderson, I'm not done with you today. I'm mad. I am upset with you right now. For those of you who don't know, Brandon Sanderson came out and did a book review recently. You stepping in my space even more? You coming into your booktuber now. So author, screenwriter, booktuber. Yeah, you think it's easy. You're gonna reveal Project Hail Mary, you're gonna come out with skits next? That I'm keeping and I'm watching. I don't care that you've passed 200,000 subscribers in the last like few months and you're probably gonna pass me. I'm not threatened at all. But yes, Brandon Sanderson is getting into doing book reviews. And if you'd like to see his review, Project Hail Mary, go watch mine instead. Go give me I don't care that he got more views in that review than I did. I don't care. But I have a Percy Jackson update coming down the road for the fans of the Olympian series. I think that's what it's called. But we have one of the writers for Black Sails stepping in and helping to pen the script for Disney. Disney, remember how you're not paying your authors? Just wanted to add that in there too. But yes, Jonathan E. Steinberg has come with Rick Royden to pen a little bit of the scripts for the upcoming Olympian series. I just hope they both get paid. It's not guaranteed. Pip, stop running around. There's literally nothing happening in this house right now. Okay, I'll cut that out and talk to you about the fact that Sean Bean was recently asked about his opinions and his thoughts on the controversial. Is it controversial though? If it's universally hated, that's not controversial. That's universally hated. He was asked about the universally hated ending to Game of Thrones, and apparently he just admitted he didn't keep up with the show after he was killed off. The actual quote was, in an interview with The Times, Bean was asked whether the Starks' decision to withdraw from the rest of Westeros could be seen as similar to Brexit. No. What happened? Bean replied. Before asking, the interviewers said they didn't want to add any further information in case Bean wanted to go back and watch the show. He replied, "I'll have forgotten by then. Go on," before asking details on the show's conclusions. Then saying, "So did Winterfell stay separate? Oh, good for them." Well, we can say that Sean Bean enjoyed Game of Thrones more than most of us. And I continually get excited for video game news despite not being that into video games anymore. Plugging my Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasy news. I do occasionally play there with y'all. But it's so cool to see the early access preview for the Unreal Engine 5. Whoa, this looked great. Not only in the textures, with the movement and lighting. If you'd like to see what the true cutting edge of video games is going to be in the near future, I would recommend giving this video a watch. Just as a technical display, if you're interested in tech even, I would watch this because it goes into the whole, like, you know how in The Mandalorian they just had TVs that surrounded them, like screens that showed like in real time. This is the kind of stuff they're using for that, and it looks that good. It's that outstanding. I think it's an important piece of news for not only our future of fantasy adaptations in video gaming, but also TV shows and things like that. It's cool. It's damn cool. And in the final piece of fantasy news we're gonna cover here today, J.J. Abrams has come out and said, "Having a plan, I have learned, in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up." This was in reference to the Star Wars trilogy J.J. Abrams helped kick off and tried to conclude. And yeah, JJ, when you're handed one of the most valuable IPs in existence, it might be a good idea to have a plan. That was something that had to be said, I guess. Yes, it's a good idea to plan your goddamn story. I am a fan of J.J. Abrams' energy as a director. I think he definitely adds a flair of the lens that can be enjoyable in moderation, but his obsession with mystery boxes that he doesn't have the answers to is baffling. A lot of people will point to his kicking off the show Lost, but he disavows it because he says like, oh, I didn't handle a lot of stuff later on. But JJ, you set up a lot of mysteries for that show you then provided no answers for the people who took it over, so I don't blame you, but you should see a trend by now. Portal is in your hands. Figure this out, please. Learn the lesson. Dear God, I'm hoping this quote means he's actually gonna start planning out conclusions before just sprinting blindly into the forest of writing. But this has been your latest episode of Fantasy News. It feels oh so good to be back in the chair. I'll be giving a writing update on my sequel novel, which is no longer a novella. It is a novel because writing happened. And have a good one, y'all. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here, and join the Fantasy News server in my Discord, or Fantasy News channel in my Discord server if you'd like to be a part of the Fantasy News conversation. Have a good one, y'all. Peace. And of course, I'd like to record a special shout out to my latest high tier Patreons, Diago Diaz, Mike V, and Rick Flieger. Rick Flieger.